In the 1st century AD, the Roman Empire was at the height of its power, governing vast territories from Europe to the Middle East. One of the key regions under Roman control was the island of Cyprus, an important center for trade and politics in the Mediterranean. It was here, around 45 AD, that a momentous event took place, the conversion of a high-ranking Roman official to the Christian faith. His name was Sergius Paulus, and his story is recorded in the New Testament in the book of Acts. Part 1. Roman Cyprus. Sergius Paulus was the Proconsul of Cyprus, a prestigious role that made him the chief administrator of the island under the authority of the Roman Senate. Like many Roman elites, Sergius was well-educated, wealthy, and deeply involved in the political life of the empire. But beyond the political and economic realities of Roman rule, the 1st century was also a time of religious and spiritual upheaval. The message of Jesus Christ had begun spreading across the Roman Empire, and this message was about to reach Sergius Paulus in an unexpected way. Part 2. Paul and Barnabas. Around the same time, 2 Christian missionaries, Paul and Barnabas, arrived on Cyprus. They were traveling from Antioch, sent by the early Christian community to preach the gospel across the Mediterranean. Cyprus was their first major stop. The journey to Cyprus is recorded in the book of Acts, chapter 13. After traveling through the island, Paul and Barnabas arrived in the city of Paphos, the seat of the Roman governor, Sergius Paulus. Acts 13 verse 7 tells us that Sergius Paulus was an intelligent man. Curious about this new movement and the teachings of Paul and Barnabas, he summoned them to hear what they had to say. Part 3. Encounter with Elymas the sorcerer. But not everyone welcomed their message. Among Sergius Paulus's advisors was a man named Elymas, also known as Bar-Jesus, a sorcerer and false prophet who opposed the Christian missionaries. Elymas feared losing his influence over the proconsul and sought to turn him away from the faith. Acts 13 verse 8 tells us that Elymas opposed them and tried to turn the proconsul from the faith. But Paul, filled with the Holy Spirit, confronted the sorcerer directly. Part 4. Paul's confrontation. In a dramatic moment, Paul rebuked Elymas, calling him a child of the devil and an enemy of all righteousness. He declared that Elymas would be struck blind as a sign of his opposition to God's truth. Immediately a mist and darkness fell over Elymas, and he groped about, seeking someone to lead him by the hand. This miraculous event astonished Sergius Paulus. Acts 13:12 describes his reaction. When the proconsul saw what had happened, he believed, for he was amazed at the teaching about the Lord. Part 5. Sergius Paulus's conversion. This moment marks a significant turning point in the history of early Christianity. Sergius Paulus became one of the first Roman officials recorded in the Bible to convert to Christianity. His faith was not based solely on the miracle he witnessed, but also on the power of the message that Paul and Barnabas preached, the gospel of Jesus Christ. Sergius Paulus's conversion was more than a personal religious decision. It symbolized the expanding reach of Christianity into the Roman world. As an educated and powerful Roman, his conversion would have carried weight in society and may have paved the way for further acceptance of Christianity among the ruling class. Part 6. The spread of Christianity. Sergius Paulus's encounter with Paul and Barnabas on Cyprus highlights the dynamic and transformative power of the early Christian movement. What began as a small Jewish sect was rapidly spreading throughout the Roman Empire, crossing ethnic, cultural, and even political boundaries. This story of faith, opposition, and transformation is one of many in the book of Acts, where we see God working through unlikely people and in unexpected ways to advance the gospel. Conclusion. Today, the name Sergius Paulus remains an important figure in the history of the early church. His conversion is a reminder that the Christian faith was not confined to the poor or the marginalized, but also reached the very heart of Roman power. From the dusty roads of Cyprus to the corridors of Roman authority, the story of Sergius Paulus echoes through the centuries, reminding us that the message of Jesus Christ can change lives, no matter who you are or where you come from.